Hey YouTube, welcome back. Today's video is about Cash App Taxes, which is a newer program. Used to be called Credit Karma Taxes, but they've refigured it to be Cash App Taxes. And yes, it does use the iPhone and Android app Cash App. Using this, you actually can file your taxes for free. And that's one of the big takeaways, one of the big reasons I'm so into it this year. And I'm like 95% sure I'm going to be using it to file my own taxes. Before we start, I do want to say that this only works in about 40 of the 50 states in the US right now. And you can't make money in a state that you didn't live in or make money in two or more states throughout the year of 2023. If you haven't heard of it before or you're curious, sit back, relax, and let's walk through Cash App Taxes.
First things first, you actually have to download the app onto your phone to begin setting up your account. When you download that, you start with an email or a phone number. I used a phone number, it seemed to work better. And then you can actually transfer, if you want to a computer and finish setting up your account, attach any bank accounts that you want, put in your profile picture, add anything else that you want to add, and set up your account fully. And then this is what the main screen looks like once you're logged in. Obviously, I just created this. I don't have any kind of cash balance or anything. And I'm going to hit tax filing. I'm going to hit file now. And we're starting off with the first couple of questions to learn more about you and your situation so that Cash App Taxes can actually set it up for you correctly. Super simple, easy to follow, just like TurboTax and H&R Block. Are you filing jointly? I'm going to say no. We're going to do a simple one, just like with TurboTax, no dependents. And does any of this apply to you in 2023? What's different about Cash App, if you watched the other video I did about the 5 top services right now, Cash App is more limited than the other service providers. If you lived in different states throughout the year, if you moved, if you worked in multiple states, or you earned money overseas, you're not going to be able to file. And only 40 of the 50 states actually can file through Cash App. So if any of that applies to you, you're not going to be able to, and that's why they're asking. I'm going to say no. Let's talk about your work and income in 2023. Occupation, let's say I worked for someone else. I did not go to school. I didn't receive any retirement income. I didn't work for myself. Let's say I got that bank account just like with TurboTax, my tutorial there. I got some kind of interest there. I didn't sell a home or have any losses. And I didn't have any other income. I'm going to say continue. Expenses in 2023. I'm not going to say I owned a home, didn't have any family expenses or anything like that. Let's say I donated to charity. Did you contribute to an HSA or MSA? I'm going to say yes. You can go through and just click on whatever actually applies to you, like every other tutorial I'm doing. I'm just setting this up really basic so that you guys have an idea of what it looks through as you go along. I'm going to say no other expenses and hit continue. Okay, basic information. So we're kind of on the main screen and you see all this income deductions state that has been set up based on what I just answered in the first 3 pages. And yours is going to look however it does based on how you answered those questions. So starting off with basic info, we're going to scoot along here. We're going to sync up tax information. We got a head start on your personal info. Cash App's going to pull all the information that you input when you created your account to this point. And so it didn't just pop up magically. They're just pulling the info that you already put in. I'm going to fill in everything and make sure that yours matches exactly what your legal address and everything is. Otherwise, you might end up with an error later on. We're just going to make one up here. I'm sorry if this is yours. We're going to keep this for single. If yours is different, again, just change it to make yours. I have no dependents and occupation. Oh, interesting. They actually have some here. Let's just pick one. We will be, let's be a board member. Okay, obviously this is coming up because it's going to be different than, I'm doing a different one based on just my information. I'm going to do update signatures for me. And since this is pulling up an error, I'm going to just skip through this scene, actually put in my information, and then move on forward. So I will meet you on the next screen. We need a bit more info. Pick any of these that applied to you: legally blind, permanently disabled, full-time student, claimed as dependent by someone else. If Rebecca passed away, in some cases you might be filing for someone else because they passed away. If that's the case, you would click that. But I'm me and I'm still alive, so I'm not going to. You didn't live in the US for more than half of the year, and you received, sold, sent, exchanged any digital assets like Bitcoin. I'm going to say no to all those. Now we're reviewing the information we put in. If at this point you have dependents, this is where you put them in. Kids or anyone that relies on you for most of their financial needs, this is where you would put them in. I'm not going to. I'll click on this just to show you how it looks, but then I'm going to go back to tax home later. Adding your dependents, this is what it looks like on the Cash App. You would just put their name, their social security number, their relationship to you, how long they lived with you, and how long they lived in the US. And then you're going to hit continue. Let's make someone up. Let's say they were born in September on the 20th in 2000. Let's pretend this is my son. And again, I'm filing single, so I'm going to actually, single and no dependents. I'm going to take this out later, but to show you what it looks like, let's say the whole year they lived with me and I provided at least half their support. I'm going to hit continue. And then a bit more about your dependents: not a US citizen, married, permanently disabled, full-time student for 5+ months. If any of those apply to your dependents, you would hit those. I'm going to say no. And did boy testing have, or my kid, I know, that's my kid's name, have less than $4,700 of gross income? Let's say it's my kid, who at this point would be 24 years old, but let's say they did not have any income, and I would just hit no, and then that would be it. I would add any more kids, or at this point, since I don't have a dependent, I'm just going to delete this. But if you do, make sure they're all correct, they're added there, and then hit save and continue. Again, it's just me. I'm going to go back to tax home. So now it's showing you a federal refund, state refund, the summary, the basic info, which I did already fill in. You can see it doesn't say start anymore. It says edit or review. So you're always able to go back and change those. I'm going to hit start for the W-2 for my income. The employer ID number is going to be a 9-digit number. So I'm just going to put in a number here. This form belongs to me. I'm the only one in the family working. It's only me in this filing. So I'm going to leave that there. The employer's name, let's put YouTube Industries, address, and again, I'm just making this up. Nothing here is real. Okay, wages and tips. I'm just gonna make numbers up for the sake of this. Don't just copy mine, make sure yours matches everything that it says on your actual form. 7, 8, 10, 11, all of those are not going to be as common. If you have them, put them in. I don't for this purpose. I'm not going to. Box 12, this is the one with all the options. I'm going to go ahead and just do the 401k. That's the most common one that I've seen across the board. I'm going to say I put $10,000 in that this year. I'm just going to exit out of this too because it's in the way. If you have more box 12 items, go ahead and put them in there. If not, you can move on. 13 and 14, if these are checked on your W-2, check them here. If this is filled out, fill it out there. Add more rows as needed. Box 15 through 20 talks about state. So we're going to go back to Minnesota. The Minnesota one is actually 7 digits. Do whatever matches your state. And then again, fill it out to match everything that is on your form. If you need to add another row for whatever reason, you can go ahead and do that here. I'm not going to for this specific example, but I'm just going to hit save W-2 and it's going to take me back to this summary page. If you need to add another W-2, you can. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to tax home. Keep in mind that Cash App only allows you to do one state for income, and if you make money in another state, you won't qualify. So this W-2 would have to be from another Minnesota company in my case, or for your case, whatever state you're in, to continue to qualify for Cash App. Based on what I put in, you see this number has changed here to 2,066 federal taxes due. State refund we haven't started, so it's not going to show. But I'm just going to keep going down here. We're going to go, we said that we had savings and interest, so I'm going to start that. And that's going to be the 1099 INT, which is the interest form for those people who have some kind of bank. I'm going to say that it is from the Chase Bank. Their ID number I just looked up so that it's correct. Account number, I'm just going to leave blank. If you have an account number on your 1099, make sure you put that in. Okay, this belongs to me. If you have someone else on your return, there's going to be options here. But let's say that I got $15 of interest, no penalties, interest on saving bonds, all the taxes and everything at 000. I just got $15 of interest throughout the year. Foreign taxes paid, anything like that. If you have it, put it in. If not, hit continue. Again, go through that, any exempt interest. And then anything reported in the boxes on your 1099 INT. There's a box 1, 3, 3, all of this stuff. If there's anything in there, put that in. I'm going to say no to mine. And then this is the interest income for the actual state from your 1099. This is not like required. If you read here, if you have it, put it in. If you don't, you can leave it blank. I'm going to leave it blank. And there we go, Chase Bank, $15. If you have more forms from other accounts, other companies, go ahead and put them in. Otherwise, hit continue. If you received any income not reported on a form, you can put that in here. If you didn't, you can move on. I'm going to just hit continue because I've never received anything like that. I don't think it's as common as it is to actually get Form 1099. This summarizes savings and interest. I'm going to hit back to tax home. This hasn't changed much. $15 is very little. HSA, MSA, I'm going to hit start. If you got 1099 SA, this means you got distributions from your HSA, and that means you took money out to pay for something, whether that was cashing it out to transfer it or cashing it out to use, or for whatever reason you cashed it out. You would get that form and you'd fill it in there. I didn't, so I'm going to say back. And then there's contributions, and this is going to be if you contributed to an HSA account outside of your regular workplace. It says here from the W-2 on box 12, there was $0 reported. Did Rebecca's employer tell Rebecca about any other contributions? I'm going to say no. Did you receive an IRA distribution that was used to fund this? I'm going to say no. Did Rebecca contribute anything to an HSA outside of payroll contributions? This is what I was talking about. If you had, let's say, an extra $300 and you wanted to put it in your account to let it kind of vest and just accrue over time, then you could put that here. Let's say you had an extra $300 and you put it in. You'd put that here. If you didn't, just click no and continue. Did you overfund the HSA in 2022? If you have questions about this, every year, if you don't already know, there are limits to how much you can contribute because it is kind of going around the taxes. And so if they don't want you hiding money or not paying taxes on funds that you should be. And that's why there is this rule, this legality, with how much you can actually put away into these special accounts. I'm going to say no, most people don't. If you have questions, then you can click here or go there. You can actually just look up like 2022 or 2023 HSA contribution limit for, single, married, family, all of that stuff. And the value of my HSAs on December 31st, 2023, what was it? You can put that there. I'm just going to say, let's say I had $15,000. And I'm going to hit continue. Was I covered by a high deductible health plan in the year? You can say yes or no. If you say yes, you were covered by a self plan, a family plan, different types of plans, whatever it was. I'm going to say no, I was not covered by a high deductible plan. And it's not less common to be covered by one either. Like there's a lot of different options these days. So it's okay to say yes. It's not a bad thing. Just make sure you know whatever kind of plan you have and put down the right information. All right. Summarizing the contributions, we have 0 and 0 here. Just going to keep scooting. We're going to go back to tax home. This number still has not changed. Charity, I'm going to go cash and non-cash gifts to charity. I, in general, actually do give a lot of things away to like Goodwill. I'm kind of OCD, so I like to throw away things that we don't need, not throw away, but gift it, donate it to charities. And so I always keep the little receipts. I write down exactly how much it was, and every year it's like $500 worth of clothing, toys, furniture, all that stuff. I'm going to put that right here. If you had anything else here, let's say you are part of a church and you had tithing or anything like that, you can put that there. I'm going to hit continue. Non-cash donations, did it total more than 500? I said no. I only put 500, so I'm going to say no. charity. Based on what you've told us, you may need to fill out some of these and fill out the ones that apply to you. So it looks like this is going to be itemized. Okay, I did not have a carryover from the previous year. Vehicle expenses, volunteering for charity. If you need to put that stuff in, you can. I'm going to say no. Let's go back and review this one. No. And no again. Okay, so I just double checked them in case it says you may need to do those things. I'm going to say that it's fine right now. It doesn't prompt me to do anything else. So I'm going to keep moving along here. And at this point in time, it looks like with just my filing status as single, as having paid the money I did, having the income I did, I owe $2,066 in taxes that I underpaid throughout the year. And at this point in time, I would have to go and starting my state taxes to finish that up and then filing at the end. So I'm going to go through state. It doesn't look like it's giving me an option to file just federal. And honestly, I've never tried doing it for any other state besides Minnesota, so I'm not sure what it's going to look like for everyone else who's not living in Minnesota, but hopefully it looks similar. Again, did you live in one or more states during the year? Cash App taxes doesn't allow you to file if with them, if you did. So I'm going to say no, I did not. And currently not preparing Minnesota state returns. If you wanted to, you could view the summary to see everything you've put in. Check one last time to see if it's all correct. You've got your income here. You can open this to expand everything to take a better look at it. Tax calculation, and then filing with confidence. So they do guarantee that they've got audit defense, no hidden filing fees, accurate calculations, and a max refund, which is what a lot of the other tax preparers are offering. And so that's great. It doesn't have the option that's kind of as step-by-step with help as H&R Block and TurboTax. But it is a great option if you've done taxes before and you want to avoid all those extra fees that the larger providers do have. Right now, because the IRS isn't accepting any kind of filing until January 24th, Cash App taxes, I'm guessing because they're a little bit smaller than TurboTax and H&R Block, they're not doing that thing where they're accepting it ahead of time and then will file later for you automatically when the IRS opens up. It looks like you're going to have to come back at a later time to file when the IRS is actually accepting it. I can't move on to that screen right now because they're not open to do that, but I'm going to post this for you guys and so you guys can see exactly what it looks like. If you've never experienced it before, if you've never heard of it, this kind of gives you a taste of what it's going to be like. And then when that filing does open, I will come back and schedule a video so that you guys can see exactly what the end looks like and all the options it has for paying any taxes due, receiving any kind of refund, and how to download your actual returns, a copy for yourself. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I'm actually really excited about Cash App taxes. I'm leaning towards filing with them this year just because I'd be avoiding fees that I don't really need with TurboTax. You guys know I've been with TurboTax forever now, but Cash App taxes is looking really good to me. So if I end up filing with them, I will let you guys know. Otherwise, I would love to hear all of your opinions on everything I've posted so far. What looks good to you, what doesn't look great. I would so appreciate your feedback. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.